I'm Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog here at kicks96country.com. Please welcome from Toronto, Canada, by way of Nashville, Tennessee, country music artist Rob Fitzgerald. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing, Fletch. I'm great. Thanks for having me here.
All right, can I tell you something that I haven't said? We've had about 30 minutes or so to just kind of hang out and get to know each other before we started talking. Can I tell you something that is the God's honest truth? I would not lie to you about this.
Sure.
Yours is literally my favorite hat ever in the history of artists. I've had artists that have come in here dressed in all kinds of ways and all kinds of things. That is my favorite hat. I'm a hat guy. I love hats. I've got a couple of fedoras. I want that hat.
Well, they actually make it. They actually sell it in Nashville. It's made by Stetson.
Yeah.
So it's a Stetson hat, which and it's a fur felt. So it's kind of my thing. So my brand.
I absolutely love it. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to go now. You bought that in Nashville. I'm gonna have to go to Stetson shop in Nashville and get that. So hashtag Stetson. Yeah, you owe me for that one. So Rob comes to us all the way from Toronto, Canada. You've got a brand new single, another town.
That's right.
All right. So before we get to talking about the song, all right, the new music, let's learn more about Rob Fitzgerald. All right. Now, you're originally from Toronto, or did you grow up somewhere else and move to Toronto?
Yeah, I've always been. It's not right in Toronto. I'm on the outskirts, a smaller city. Yeah, so it's but Toronto is kind of the metropolis where I perform in and around. Ontario is a big province, so once again I perform in and around Ontario as well. So yeah. So
how long have you been how long has music been your thing? Is like the entire life, or was it something you kind of just discovered later?
Coming from a musical family, like, I always credit my mom. My mom is who introduced me to music. All her old records, whether it was the Beatles, Stones, Presley, the band, and then it just progressed from there. I think I wore the grooves right off of those records when I played them as I was a kid, and to the Allman Brothers, to classic country, and which brings me to today. Kip Moore is a huge influence of mine.
Oh, yeah, we love Kip.
Chris Stapleton, Lanco. I mean, I could go on and on, but you'll hear all of that in my music. So there's a little bit of soul, there's a little bit of rock, there's a little bit of country, and it's just kind of my style.
All right. So all of those musical influences, how would you say that? I mean, you're a songwriter.
That's
obviously. Right. Would you say that you borrow from those early influences, or have you maybe found a way to carve out something that is totally unique?
Well, I think it's subconscious. I don't even know if I'm borrowing it, from bands I've played in and cover tunes I've done and what I've listened to. I think it just ends up coming out of me subconsciously. And, a lot of people will mention that's unique in this way or that way. So it seems to work for me, and I'm not looking at changing it anytime soon.
All right. Well, with all of those influences, I mean, you mentioned everything from Elvis to the band, and it's Chris Stapleton and Lanco even, who's very, very new. Why country?
I think it progressed into that, maybe a little more in the rock days. I progressed into Americana, and then it was just, I woke up one day and it was just country, and I never looked back. And
I love it. That's a t-shirt.
That's right.
Just country, and I never looked back.
Yeah.
Hashtag Rob Fitzgerald.
So, and then just grabbing a hold of that, and then meeting up with the songwriters. I joined the Nashville Songwriters Association, started making more trips down to co-write, a few writing seminars that I went to, and then picked up a really good songwriting mentor out of California. His name is Warren Sellers.
Oh, yeah.
So I meet with him every couple of weeks, and we work on my songs. And what I've learned along the way, it's a craft. So, just building on the craft, and in the end, so the idea now is to write throughout the year, pick the strongest songs. And like I did in October, went down and recorded 3 singles, which recorded with some phenomenal studio musicians.
So you're actually recording in Nashville?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to get him down here, record some of the shows. We've got studios here.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to record in the footsteps of Paul Simon, Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett. Sure, who wouldn't?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the music now. Last year you had a single, "Can I Get an Amen?" That's
right.
Okay. This year you've come with some brand new music. It's called "Another Town."
That's right.
Talk to us about that song. That's one that you wrote, co-wrote. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, it was co-written with a Nashville songwriter. Her name is Sarah Peterson, great songwriter. So the idea is, you sit down and go through a songwriting session. We had a song, or I had the birth of a song, and we were working on it. And it just didn't seem to work out. So what we realized is we actually had two songs. So Another Town came of it, and another one I'll play as well live here is Enjoy the Ride. So Another Town was basically, it's, you know, what would a country song be without a breakup? And it's a breakup so bad that he had to actually leave town.
We've all had those. I mean, those of us who could afford to leave town, you know, we've all had those. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I went down a rabbit hole.
But it's not a sad song.
I digress.
It's actually a happy song. So and you're rooting for him. So
yay, breakups are happy. So yes. All right, Rob. So now you've actually had some success as a songwriter. You've had some recognition. You've been nominated as you've at least made finalists in a couple of like awards and festivals and things like that. So when you came to Nashville, was there anything about Nashville and that songwriting community in Nashville that made you think, your initial impression, think, I'm on the right track, or I need to up my game, or what was your impression there?
Well, at first it was like, wow, I really need to step up my game. But the great thing about Nashville is the connections you can make along the way. And it just really helped me to be a better songwriter. So if you're really interested in it and you really want to progress at it, Nashville is the place to be able to do all the checks and balances, and, you know, and play live in front of a publisher and get that honest opinion, and then realize, you know, am I on the right track? So at least they didn't tell me to quit doing it and do something else. So it was always positive feedback. But what ended up happening before is I just wanted to be a songwriter, and I kept pitching, and they said, what do you want to do with this? And I said, well, I'd actually like to look to see if I can get a publishing deal. And I would sing and perform on my own stuff. And they said, why don't you take the artist track? So last summer, I, changed gears, went to the artist track, branded myself, and went to radio for the first time, and good stuff has happened since. So.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to get Rob to play for us. You can look for a live performance from Rob Fitzgerald elsewhere here on our YouTube channel. Rob, I want to say thanks, first of all, for coming in. We appreciate having you down here all the way from Toronto, Canada, through Nashville. You know, some of my favorite country music artists over the years have been Canadians, obviously Shania Twain, Anne Murray. I think most recently we've got Tennille Arts that comes from out there in Canada. There are some really phenomenal country artists that come from Canada. So Terry Clark, that's one I was thinking, there's one I'm missing, Terry Clark. So seriously, if you're not aware that your favorite country music artist might be actually a Canadian, you need to look into that, because there's a lot of really great country music that's made up there. So Rob, I know that my audience can't wait to hear you. We're going to give you a chance to see him play his song live here on our YouTube channel. But Rob, really quick, if somebody is looking for you on the internet, where do they go to find you?
So website, robfitzgeraldmusic.com, all the socials, pretty much all of them, Rob Fitzgerald Music. I'm on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, just under Rob Fitzgerald.
Okay, so look up Rob Fitzgerald, spell it in case somebody doesn't know.
R-O-B, and Fitz, son of Gerald. That's actually what Fitz is.
I love that. That's great. Rob Fitzgerald's our guest. Another Town is the single. If you want to hear it, please call us at Kicks 96. We'll gladly play it for you. Look for his live performance elsewhere here on our channel. And Rob, thanks for coming by.
Fletch, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you next time on another artist video blog, kicks96country.com. Goodbyes will be gone by sunrise. Could be anywhere, I don't know, baby, I don't care. Just another town somewhere.